Today, Nintendo drops a video game bombshell, the likes we've only seen at E3, and the Switch becomes the most stable element in the universe.
I have a
Tablet.
pen. I have a
Joy-Con.
Apple.
Nintendo Switch.
Apple pen. Pineapple pen.
Hadouken!
Pikachu!
Hello, Nintendo!
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. It is episode 30 of Hello Nintendo. I'm your host Matt, aka TrainAss, and joining me again today is Amog, aka Castar Man.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going?
Pretty good. How have you been?
Oh, doing okay. Getting over a cold. It's one of those ones that just does not want to go away. It just keeps lingering, and I can thank my kids for that because they're so generous.
I feel like your kids gift you with a cold like every month.
Pretty much. That's because my oldest is in school and they didn't go to daycare or anything when they were younger, so she's pretty much picking up everything. And then my 3-year-old just doesn't wash her hands properly. So
Ooh.
yeah, so blame my kids. So before we kind of dig into this episode, let's just kind of go. Let's talk about what we've been playing in the last week. So Mo, what have you been up to? What have you been playing?
So I have actually been playing Fire Emblem 8 Sacred Stones this past week, and I've been having a lot of fun with the game. It's my favorite of the Fire Emblem franchise, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was released on the Game Boy Advanced. However, if you are one of the lucky, or I guess unlucky, Nintendo 3DS ambassadors, then you also have that on the 3DS.
Oh, that's right. I have it down there too.
Yeah.
Forgot I got that ambassador certificate.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend playing that game if you have the chance.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, I've been playing a little bit of GTA 5 on my Xbox, just with some people in the Xbox One Discord. But it's been kind of quiet gaming-wise for me, because if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you'll know that I'm an aspiring voice actor and actually got my first paid gig in a video game too, no less. The game is, I don't think it has a title right now, but it's sort of a learning game where it's designed to help non-English speakers benchmark their English comprehension, listening, and understanding skills. And I get to play an agent in an information dealer. And when I was looking through the script, it looks like I was one of the main characters because I seem to have the most lines through the whole thing. So I thought that's pretty cool. So that's actually what's been taking up most of my time. But now that that's over, I'm going to be diving headfirst into my Switch, especially with what some of these games that are coming out.
Which one are you looking at to play first?
Well, I did pick up Bayonetta 1 and 2, and it's actually going to be my first time playing both of those games, so I'm kind of looking forward to Bayo 1. Definitely am going to be resuming Mario Odyssey. Actually, I just completed the New Donk City, that whole thing, so New Donk City is all nice and pretty now. And of course, Breath of the Wild, because
Right.
That's a game that I think I will never, ever finish.
Yeah, I don't think I actually ever beat Calamity Ganon. Nor
Really?
have I ever actually stepped foot into the Hyrule Castle yet.
I'm sad to say, out of all the games in the Zelda franchise, I have only completed 3. Wind Waker HD, Ocarina of Time 3D, Wind Waker HD, Ocarina of Time 3D, and the very first Legend of Zelda. And
Really?
I even played that on my GameCube through that collector's disc.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I beat you then. I've got Wind Waker HD, Ocarina of Time 3D, Twilight Princess, and the Minish Cap, as well as Phantom Hourglass.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, only 3. I come close to finishing Twilight Princess, and then I lost my Wii save, so I had to start over again.
Oh,
and
no.
then I got Twilight Princess HD, and then my hard drive died. so I had to start again. And then when I started again, then my 3-year-old formatted my Switch, so then I lost the save again. So I think at this rate, the only time I'll probably finish it is when the inevitable Twilight Princess remaster for Switch comes out, because really the number of ports we use ports that are coming to Switch is pretty big. But
Do you really think it's that inevitable?
when you look at the number of Switch games that are Wii U releases, I think so. Because it's at this rate, it feels like almost every first party Switch title is making its way. Every first party Wii U title is making its way to the Switch, and anything that hasn't been announced yet, it's going to be coming. I'm pretty sure of it. The Wii U was a pretty big failure, but it had some absolutely amazing games on it, which people didn't actually get to enjoy. So porting them across is one way, because considering the Switch is at what, 12 million sold, if not more, worldwide.
Oh yeah.
Something like that. It surpassed the Wii U total lifetime sales in 10 months. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure that we'll eventually see Twilight Princess, and I'm kind of hoping Skyward Sword will make their way to the Switch, because I want to actually experience.
Oh yeah. Skyward Sword is a game that probably would not have been able to be released on the Wii U if they were trying to go back to their more traditional style gameplay with the whole Pro controllers and the Wii U gamepad. But now with the Switch, the Joy-Cons can act as Wii remotes and nunchucks. So yeah, Skyward Sword can definitely come back. We might, in my personal opinion, we might be seeing a whole new range of nostalgia for Wii games coming into the Switch here over the next few years.
Yeah, that's very true. I think if we do eventually see a Skyward Sword and it does release with motion controls, if it's motion controls only, then you know me, I'll be avoiding it. If they do it with traditional controls, then I'll be all over it. So
fair.
But that's going to kind of lead us into our first topic, which was that Nintendo Direct, that insane Direct, actually, because that was, holy crap, the number of games that they talked about in that was unbelievable. Like that,
it was so packed.
It was like, that was almost like an E3 level release. So Mog, why don't you kind of take us through some of this, kind of summarize a little bit of this Direct.
All right, yeah, sure. Since Alec, the Scottish Lion, and his sister have already gone through with their whole big analysis of the Nintendo Direct, which was in episode 29.5, by the way, I wholeheartedly recommend watching it. Released simultaneously with this episode, actually. And yeah, I'll start off with the 3DS games as like a quick rundown. The first game is WarioWare Gold, which is a collection of old and new micro games, which is the big draw of the WarioWare micro game franchise. It's all a bunch of quick games. You got to figure out the controls right away, and if you don't figure, part of the fun is figuring out the controls in like the 5-10 seconds you get to play the game.
Yeah.
And this game is actually fully voice acted. I don't know why they. I in my opinion, that might be a little unnerving, but I guess it's there. It's the first WarioWare game in the franchise to be fully voice acted, and it will be releasing in August of this year.
I'm kind of curious to see what Wario sounds like. The voice of Wario.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. I hope it's good, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm not putting too much faith into it because Wario, even though he hasn't really been voice acted, he's been voice acted about as much as, say, Mario has been, in terms of like the range of his grunts and laughing and stuff like that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. It's a good point.
So I feel like it might be a little hard to keep that voice throughout, but obviously they're paying hopefully professionals to be doing this, so hopefully they figure it out. And then next we've got Dylan's Dead Head, or Dylan's Dead Heatbreakers, which is a sequel to Dylan's Rolling Western 2. It will be a tower defense action game, and I guess you can play as your me with a whole, dare I say it, persona. And it will be releasing on May 10th. This is a game that I'm not sure I'll be picking up. The only time I ever really see Dylan the Armadillo is in like Super Smash Brothers. Had no idea who he was beforehand.
Huh.
Okay. And next, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey. And this will be a remake of the Nintendo DS game with 3D animated cutscenes. And Bowser Jr.'s Journey is actually a whole new side mode where you get to play as Bowser Jr. It happens in tandem. It's a story that's happening in parallel with Bowser's Inside Story, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And it will be releasing in 2019. So that means that this game confirms that the 3DS will have at least an 8-year lifespan then. Which is actually kind of crazy.
Is that one of the longest for handhelds, or?
I believe so, actually. The Game Boy Advance was released, 2001? Or was that the GameCube? Well, either way, it had games releasing for about 5 or 6 years, I believe, with Pokemon Emerald being one of the last ones for that. And then the DS, it lasted from 2005. Actually, the DS might, depending on how you call it, the DS might have been pretty long-lasting. However, I don't think the Nintendo DS really had many big first-party games released after the Nintendo 3DS came out. Maybe, again, I keep thinking of handheld generations in terms of Pokemon games, and Pokemon Black, White 2 were the last ones released on the Nintendo DS, and that was in 2012, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, I guess this would be the longest lasting handheld, unless the Game Boy or Game Boy Color lasted longer. If so, I don't really know how long both of those lasted. Yeah, and finally, Luigi's Mansion, which is going to be a port of the original GameCube game that everybody knew and fell in love with, but it also has... it's a little bit updated with a new boss rush and gallery mode, and it'll be releasing later this year. I actually never played Luigi's Mansion, so this might be one for me.
Yeah, I only played a little bit of Luigi's Mansion on the Cube, so I might look into this one. But I mean, it's not. I don't know, because wasn't there, what was it called, Dark of the Moon? But that was an original Luigi's Mansion title for the 3DS, though.
Right, and I remember there being a little bit of controversy over the game since it didn't have the OG Luigi's Mansion controls.
Right, yes.
But I think that game was also released before the new Nintendo 3DS came out, and now that the new Nintendo 3DS is out and probably much more used than the OG 3DS at this point, they can fully utilize those extra trigger buttons along with the C nub.
That's true. That's very true. That'll be interesting. I know a lot of people were kind of upset that you were getting the GameCube port of Luigi's Mansion on a 3DS and it's not coming to the Switch, but hey, beggars can't be choosers.
That's true. And honestly, we might see Luigi's Mansion on the Switch anyway later. We never know. It could.
That's true.
Whenever they add Virtual Console, it could come. Who knows?
Eventually.
Maybe after this, after the 3DS decides that it's done and doesn't want any more games.
Yeah, right, yeah.
All right. And next we've got the Nintendo Switch games. This one was pretty hefty, and we'll talk about the last one together in a little bit of a more big discussion. So the first game, which is actually already out now as of the time of recording, and of course the time this episode comes out, is Kirby Star Allies. I didn't really see much about this game. This game is not one that I'm personally very interested in. However, you have you get these people dream allies at launch, and they're unlockable partners that you can use in the game because this is a very co-op heavy game, and so you can I think this is DLC, right? Purchasable. King DDD, Meta Knight, and Bandanity.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Sounds.
Mm-hmm. And then they
sounds
said,
right.
yeah. And then they said that more Dream Allies will be available as free DLC. So actually, maybe it might be free DLC. I'm not sure. I always get confused with that. Why not just release it as an update if it's free?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And then I don't know who these are, but Rick, Kine, Ku, Marks, and Gooey all released March 28th. So if those are characters that you really like, then that's good for you, and you should definitely purchase Kirby Star Allies then.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I'll do a quick rundown of the third-party ports that we're getting. Okami HD, Undertale. Now this next one's a little bit crazy, at least to me. Crash and Insane Trilogy. I thought Crash was like a mascot of Sony. Didn't think that he was ever going to come anywhere outside of there.
Yeah, no kidding. Like that was a big shock to me actually. Yeah, when I heard that Crash was coming to Switch.
Oh yeah, I think that was honestly the most insane reveal to me. That came completely out of left field.
Oh yeah.
That's the one of the kinds of franchises that, besides like Halo or maybe I don't know Ratchet and Clank, that I thought never would have come.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, I would kill for Ratchet and Clank on Switch.
Now, Ratchet and Clank is the one reason I really wish I had a PlayStation. I had a PSP some years back, and Ratchet and Clank, I don't remember which one it was, but that was such a fun game.
Oh geez, yeah. I've got it on my PSP. It's like it has something to do with being small or whatever because it's the portable version. But yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Yeah, I probably played that game for hours upon hours. And then now Little Nightmares Definitive Edition. I'm actually not too familiar with this game. So Matt, do you know much about it?
No, I've actually I don't think I've ever actually heard of it.
Yeah, neither have I. So Little Nightmares Definitive Edition. If it's like the title, it's about Little Nightmares, and it's definitive.
Yes.
And then South Park: The Fractured Butt. And in this document that we have to help guide us along in this video, it says pause in brackets. Okay, the South Park: The Fractured Butt, pause, hole.
Yeah, the fractured butt hole. It says their games are always like that. They like their titles. They're always that weird pun or play. This one actually, honestly, the South Park game actually surprises me more than the Crash game.
Really?
Absolutely. The fact that we're getting that South Park game on Switch actually surprises me a lot more than the Crash game.
Huh. I guess that makes sense. Nintendo family friendly, South Park family friendly when you look at when you close your eyes and cover your ears. And then we've also got Dark Souls Remastered coming to the Nintendo Switch, and with this is a limited time demo available before launch. Kind of like the test fires or test punches. I don't know, a test soul, test dark. I don't know what you'd call this.
Yeah.
And the game releases on May 26th. But if you've never played Dark Souls, this limited time demo will be perfect for you to get into it. How I would describe Dark Souls is it has a little bit like Legend of Zelda. You can definitely see influence from there, along with combat that I guess takes a bit, or is a little bit like Monster Hunter actually. So if you've played Monster Hunter World but not Dark Souls, then Dark Souls won't feel that foreign, or won't feel completely foreign to you. And I think this is a little bit crazy to me, almost as crazy as the Crash Insane Trilogy, but there will be an amiibo coming out for Dark Souls. For Dark Souls veterans, this amiibo is Solaire, and it'll let you praise the sun.
Don't forget, it is a GameStop exclusive amiibo.
Yeah, I think I might be getting that amiibo. Unfortunately, I have Gamers Club unlocked on from Best Buy though, so I don't know. I think the 20% off on all new games from that might make me not get this amiibo.
I mean, I'm avoiding the game altogether. So, and I've got a fairly extensive amiibo collection, but nah, I'm just don't really feel like doing that one.
Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely a game that's not for everyone. You have to dedicate a lot of time towards the game to really understand it. I have a friend who has probably 1,000 to 2,000 hours in Dark Souls.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
And you're still sane.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's that sane, but especially not after that. But I don't know if that's because of Dark Souls or if he was already insane beforehand.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay,
So what else do we have on our list?
Getting out of the third-party ports here, we've got Sushi Strikers, which is releasing simultaneously on the 3DS and Nintendo Switch, and it is a puzzle action game about eating sushi. It's got anime-esque cutscenes with local and online multiplayer. The Nintendo Direct actually mentioned that this multiplayer will be very competitive, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And this game releases on June 8th. And finally, a first-party port, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which will be releasing both on the 3DS and Switch again. And there will be 3D on the 3DS, obviously, but then on the Switch there will be multiplayer. I'm not certain if that means there won't be multiplayer on the 3DS version, however. I guess we'll find it at launch. I know my kids love the Treasure Tracker on the Wii U, so this will be a day one purchase for me for sure. Oh yeah, maybe you should introduce them to Dark Souls. I don't know, teach them bright and early how to get good at video games.
Despite them always sharing their colds with me, I still like my kids.
All right, and then the second player supplies turnip cover fire, so that's similar to I think Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. Does Super Mario Odyssey have a sort of second player role, like 1.5?
There is like an assist mode, but I don't let my kids play the Switch, so I haven't actually utilized that yet. But I have seen like a 2-player type of mode for it.
Okay, so I guess this follows the line of all the 3D Mario games from the past decade, besides Super Mario 3D World and 3D Land.
Right, yeah.
And this will be releasing in July. Or, I mean, like, you can always just purchase Captain Toad right now and on the Wii U if you want to play it. I don't know if all this stuff justifies having a whole new purchase, at least in my opinion. But depending on who you are, like if you want that portable on the go, then buying it on the 3DS or Switch would definitely be a good idea.
Yeah, I agree. I agree for sure.
And now let's move into more of that big games. So first off, Mario Tennis Aces. And this game is a game that I think I might want to purchase if it wasn't releasing so close to Dark Souls, which I already promised my friend who has 2,000 hours in Dark Souls I would be purchasing and playing with him. There are at least 16 playable characters, including Chain Chomp in Mario Tennis Aces, and it's based off an Ultra Smash engine. So not to be confused with Super Smash Brothers, but the Ultra Smash engine has a few different quirks besides just regular tennis. So it's got things like a zone shot, which is a move that allows you to aim in slow-mo before shooting, hitting your opponent's racket, hitting your opponent's racket can damage it. And by returning a zone shot at the right time, you can block it, negating damage. And there's zone speed, slow down time around you to reach shots you otherwise couldn't. And zone shots and speed do consume stamina, and so there's now a stamina bar, and you can regain stamina by continuing a rally. What's uncertain to me about this is, the stamina is a balancing feature. However, I don't know if you have like a set amount of stamina at the start of every rally, and you get more from rallying longer, or if you start out at 0 stamina and you only regain stamina or gain stamina by rallying. If so, if it's that latter, then I think that the zone shot, zone speed stuff are there to speed up rallies. And then, yeah, there's also style shots, which are risky to pull off. In the trailer, it looked a little difficult, at least to me, to pull off a style shot. But if you do pull that off, then you get a lot of stamina. And there's also a special shot. So this would be your max stamina, like all-in sort of shot that can break your opponent's racket in one hit. I actually don't know what happens if you break an opponent's racket. Can they just not return a shot anymore?
They're probably going to have to go find a Mogoblin, kill it, and then steal its racket.
Oh, that's
actually a good question. I wonder if they'll have to, I don't know, you'll see like a Toad or something like that run over to them with a new racket, and they'll kind of be immobile or whatever for a little while. That's interesting. But you know what? I kind of like that because it's going to add, as long as it's done well. Like if it's kind of overdone or it's really easy to break your opponent's racket or have your racket broken, then might be kind of crappy. But
that's true. Hopefully Nintendo's will be able to balance that just right. And I'm sure in this online age, if it ends up being, it's too hard to break a racket or it's too easy to break a racket, then they can balance it. It's not that much of a deal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if all that stuff, if breaking rackets and special shots, zone shots, and that kind of stuff doesn't appeal to you, then there will also be a simple mode, which doesn't have any stamina. It would be kind of like your standard Mario 64 tennis, and as well as a swing mode. So this would be Wii tennis, but with Mario characters instead of your Mii.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And there will be online with friends or in tournaments. And tournaments can give you new characters and costumes. And if you want to play this, I'll call it a test rally. There will be a pre-launch tournament that will be held before launch, and the game releases June 22nd. So if this interests you, definitely keep an eye out for more news about Mario Tennis Aces.
I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I always kind of like the tennis games, and yeah, I'm and I think this will definitely be one that I'll use motion controls on, only because you get to just swing your rackets back and forth. It's makes it really easy.
And no need to worry about running around then. Your character will be moving by itself to the shots.
Yes, for sure.
I do wonder, though, if you'll be able to cheese it just like you were able to in Wii Tennis. I never played would it be Wii Tennis HD, Wii Tennis U? I don't remember what it was called on the Wii U.
It was just like Wii U Sports or whatever, I think is what it was.
Okay. So I never played that, so I don't know if or what updates were made in between the original Wii Tennis to now, but I'm assuming that any updates that were made in Wii Tennis U will also be around in this new Mario game, or Mario Tennis Aces.
Hopefully, the only updates were HD graphics, 5.1 surround, and online multiplayer. Is primarily what it was. Like you could join regional clubs and you could actually play online against other people, which is something that the Wii Sports was sorely lacking. That's it's for all intents and purposes though they're pretty much the same games. Wii Golf is the only one that had the most changed in it because you actually use the gamepad now to see your golf ball, and you pretty much had to use the Wiimotes with Wii Motion Plus in them.
Right. That makes sense. And I don't know, the Wii Motion Plus came out in what, 2009? So probably a
Something like that,
majority
yeah.
of the remotes that have been purchased since then are like Nintendo Wii's all have Wii Motion Plus, and there are a bunch of games that came out on the Wii U that came with a Wii Motion Plus controller too. So
Yeah,
hopefully you've got a Wii Motion Plus controller like laying around if you wanted that, but you won't need that now since you've got your Joy-Con.
that's true. Very, very true.
All right, and next, Splatoon 2 version 3.0, which will be releasing in April. This will have 100 plus, I think, new pieces of gear and 3 new stages: the Piranha Pit, Camp Triggerfish, and Wahoo World. And now there will even be a new Rank X for Elite Splatoon players. I know there's one person in the our Nintendo Slack chat, I think 1338 H4X, or missing number depending on where you find him on. He's been having a lot of trouble ranking up in Splatoon because of how crazy it is with new people and having playing with randos. So I wonder how he'll feel about a new rank X, which will probably be extremely difficult to attain with all this randomness.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, yeah, I believe in him. But and now there will also be a new expansion for Splatoon 2, the Octo expansion, which will be a paid single-player experience, and you get to play as Octoling Agent 8. Haha, Nintendo 8. And now there will be 80 new stages in this Octo expansion, and there will be a supporting cast of Captain Cuttlefish, Pearl, Marina, and Agent 3. It'll be releasing this summer. Do you think he'll be getting into Splatoon 2 with this Octo expansion, Matt?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I might have to skip. There's too many other games that I want to play for me to go back to Splatoon 2. I'm a sucker for like the short form multiplayer games. I can just play those for hours upon hours.
For me, for the most part, I tend to stick to single player games, and I do like playing Splatoon. Every once in a while, I'll play Splatoon 2. My kids will watch and they'll cheer me on. They love it when I use the paint roller. And if I splat somebody with the paint roller, they just go nuts. They're screaming and laughing and everything. So, but yeah, I think I'll be definitely picking this one up for sure.
Oh yeah, you know, Matt, I've always wanted to ask, how does it feel having a whole like a little video game fan club always with you whenever you're playing a game?
It's kind of cool. Because right now my oldest, well, both my kids think I'm the best gamer ever. You know, they always tell me, "Oh, you're so good at the games and you're doing so well." I'm like, oh, if only you knew. I'm like probably near the bottom of the rung on how, you know, in terms of good video game players. But it's, you know, it's kind of good. It's a bit of an ego and confidence boost when they're cheering me on with stuff, and seeing them get excited and wanting to interact, you know, and then with my oldest, seeing her, like, I'll play, you know, certain games that, and then she'll go and play them because she sees me, and you know, that's I think it's really neat, and I like it. You know, I don't mind.
Hey, keep it while you've got it, Matt.
Oh, for sure. I look forward to the days though when they best me and surpass me in games, which with how my oldest is progressing, probably won't be too long.
Really? I'm sure she also has a little bit more time she'll also have a little bit more time to practice those games, considering in a few years' time you'll be a big name in the voice acting business.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll be a real big name, but I'll have my Switch with me the entire time.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, getting back on.
I hear there's another port coming to the Switch too, huh?
Oh yeah, it's called Super Smash Brothers. Okay, the person who makes our document, usually I think he made it this week too, is Brooks, aka the Poochie Kid, and all he has here is OMG what? That trailer was so awesome. Breath of the Wild Link, Inklings. Oh, he said it looks like a new game, but is it really?
See,
And
I still think it's a port. I honestly think it's a port, and the Inklings that were shown in the video was part of a DLC package that was going to be released for Smash on Wii U. But with the fall of the Wii U, it got it's being brought over. So honestly, I'm in the it's a port camp.
Huh. I actually am a little in between right here, considering that the Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS and Wii U is actually a game that runs on the same engine as Super Smash Brothers Brawl, and it's just modified, so it's like a new game. I think that Nintendo could definitely, if Nintendo just made it a port, then I don't think it would actually be that bad. There will be the diehard Super Smash Brothers Melee crowd that says, "Oh no, this is bad since it doesn't have Melee and HD at the end of the game name."
Yeah.
But this new game, even if it's a port, will probably include quite a few balance patches, or like would be like one huge gigantic balance patch, and would probably have like extra modes, maybe a return of a single player mode,
Mhm.
and who knows? I know the creator of Super Smash Bros., Sakurai. He always says that that's his last game, that the current Smash is the last Smash that he's ever going to work on. But so far, we're really early in, so we don't know his involvement in this one. So who knows?
That's true. So one of the reasons why I still think that this is a port is if you take a look at the Wii U. So the Wii U released November in 2012, and then Smash didn't come out until almost 2 years later in 2014. The Switch is only a year into its life cycle, and they're announcing a new game, or like a new Smash game. And I think even if we do what was the Smash Wii?
A Brawl?
Smash was that
That was on the Wii.
So Smash Brawl released in 2008, and the Wii released in 2006. So still 2 years into the life cycle. So I still think that this is a port, just based on just based on just the last two games.
But Melee was also released within a year of the GameCube being released.
So GameCube released in 2001. Did it? What was when was the GameCube released? 2001. Well, you know what?
Will you do that? I got Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Yeah, so the GameCube was released in November 2001 in North America.
Oh, Melee was also released in November of 2001. So it actually might have been a launch title.
I think Smash Melee was a launch title.
Yeah, released 2 years after the original Super Smash Bros.
And then N64 was released in 96, and 99 is when so 96 and then 99 is when Smash Bros, the very first Smash Bros was released. So looks like Melee was the only oddity out there. All the other Smash games have released multi-years into their life cycle. So that's why I think this is still a port. Especially because it might be coming out this year.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think from a sort of financial standpoint for Nintendo, they've got what over 12 million Switches roaming around in the world right now, and they want to start getting more of that hardcore crowd. I guess that's still playing the Nintendo Wii U because it's got Smash on there, and this would be the way to finally transition I guess, the rest of the people from the Nintendo Wii U over to the Switch.
Right. Yeah, I think so too.
Mm-hmm. So this will be interesting. There's not much to go off of right now in terms of, well, anything besides the fact that it had a pretty cool looking trailer. And
Yeah, I will admit, like, I've always liked the trailers and like the character releases and everything. Like, I'm not a fan of Smash, but Nintendo always does an amazing job with those trailers.
oh yeah, the last Super Smash Bros. Game, the one for Wii U, came out 4 years ago, and I remember the whole year and a half of build up to that game was absolutely insane. There was every single Nintendo Direct was very highly anticipated for new characters. There was the whole demo that came out for Club Nintendo users, and I had it pre-ordered on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure, I invited a bunch of people over to my house for release day, and thinking, oh no, and then thinking later, oh no, what if my package gets delayed? What am I gonna do? And then
did it show up on time?
Luckily, it did. It showed up on time. Like after school, I rushed over back home, and I found the package waiting at like the doors at like my doorstep. I ripped it open. Oh yeah, it was Smash, and then started playing that. I think I felt super popular after that day. There were like 50 plus people who came to my house to play Smash Brothers.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Did you have the adapter so you could use GameCube controllers?
Actually, I didn't have the adapter. However, one of my other friends, he did have the GameCube adapter, and so he brought it over probably an hour or two into this whole Super Smash Brothers release party. So, and then we played with that for a while, and then I didn't actually get my own adapter for like 3 months or 4 months after that.
I always thought the Mega Man reveal was probably the coolest one that I've seen. Seen Mega Man reveal for the Wii U Smash. That's still, I think, my favorite character reveal.
Oh yeah, I really liked the Lucina reveal actually, because I'm super big into Fire Emblem. I was just playing Fire Emblem Awakening, and all of a sudden I see this, I see Captain Falcon show up in the style of the Fire Emblem Awakening cutscene, and I'm like, oh god. Like, are they revealing Captain Falcon for Fire Emblem now? But lo and behold, wait, actually,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, actually, was that the Lucina? Oh yeah, that was the Lucina as well as the Robin reveal. I think that was a dual reveal.
Huh.
But yeah, that Super Smash Bros. Trademarked, releasing in 2018. Question mark, exclamation point, repeated a few times. Alright, and now, Matt, do you want to take over again? News topic number 2.
Sure. So, Nintendo Switch just got the version 5.0 firmware, which everybody was all excited for because they thought, hey, maybe this means Virtual Console and things that are going to actually be good and great. But no, not really. We've got 24 new ARMS and Kirby avatars that you can use, or you can move your Mii over. Actually, you can use that. That's what I use. I use my Mii from my Wii U. You now have the ability to filter out different news channels, so you don't need to see that. It does add the ability to add friends from a few new locations. So there's Twitch, Twitter. I saw Facebook, but I don't recall if Facebook has always been there. So a few more places where you can add friends to your friends list, and of course, stability. Nintendo is famous for their stability.
I'm most hyped for the stability. I mean, like,
me too.
Everyone needs a little more stability in their life, and the Nintendo Switch version 5.0 firmware is giving you that stability. How easy is that?
Yeah. So yeah, we have more stability. I haven't seen any articles from people picking this firmware apart. It would be kind of nice to see if people can uncover anything. I'm kind of hoping that maybe Nintendo rolled back removing that golf game, because didn't they stripped it out after one of the last firmware updates where you could no longer set the date on your Switch to Iwata's passing, and then do the whole please you know please understand hand motion, and then you would get golf. I think they stripped that out, so it'd be nice if they kind of threw that back in there, because I think that was a really nice tribute to Iwata. So, but
I actually didn't
I
know
don't.
about that.
What?
No,
Oh man, that was everywhere. It was
I
all over the place.
see. I tried looking up as little Switch news. I tried keeping myself as in the dark as possible until I got a Switch, and I'm assuming
Oh,
that it left after, or it was gone by the time that I got my Switch.
oh man, you're doing a disservice to yourself.
I'll do some research after this episode.
Okay, but yeah, that's kind of about it for the Switch firmware. It's pretty lackluster.
Mhm.
I'm really hoping though that I wouldn't mind seeing another one that finally adds console based voice, so you don't have to use that crappy app anymore. That'd be
Mm.
kind of nice to see. And I think the one thing that I would like to see is the ability to have an external storage, and not just the micro SD card. For the simple fact that I have now pretty much filled my 128 gig micro SD with all the games that I've purchased. So my plan of going all digital on my Switch has backfired completely. I now need to go to like a I think someone said it was like a hybrid. So pretty much first party titles, aside from ones that I'm gonna want like quick multiplayer, are gonna go physical for me. So
Huh.
I definitely want to see the option of some sort of external storage or additional external storage, I should say.
Fair, fair. Yeah, I think the Nintendo Switch does support up to what 4 terabyte micro SD cards, which haven't actually like been invented yet, but theoretically it supports up to that.
Yeah, and that's based on the micro SD XD standard. So any device that has that standard will support that capacity. So it's not just something special to the Switch. But yeah,
Right.
as you said, micro SD cards of 4 terabyte variety don't exist yet. Um, and just for those people listening, always be very careful when you purchase a micro SD card. If you find a micro SD card that's 512 gigs and you're paying $20 for it, unless it is a ridiculous sale at a reputable retailer, it's going to be a scam. It's going to be a piece of crap. Chances are it's going to be something like a 4 gig or an 8 gig micro SD card that has a different firmware flashed on it to make it appear to be a substantially larger SD card. AliExpress is actually really bad for that. Same with eBay. So I would avoid SD cards like that, like the plague. Um,
Hmm.
if you are going to buy an SD card, try and get it from someplace that's reputable. Whether you get it from Amazon, you get it from Fry's, you get it from Best Buy, wherever you can get it. But always be very careful, because the worst thing you could do is purchase a good size micro SD card, start loading up your games on it, and then you find out that they've all gone corrupt. Because when you've got an SD card like that, when it's got a fake firmware on there, what it'll do is it'll fill up the first 4 gigs, and then it'll act like it's adding additional data, but it's just overwriting that first 4 or first 8, whatever the
Really?
physical capacity of the card is. Yeah. So I did a couple experiments. Bought a couple micro SD cards off AliExpress. I think one was a 512 gig, and one was a 1 terabyte, and they cost me, I think $10-20 a piece. And getting my money back was not a problem. So that's why I decided to do this. Got them
Hmm.
home, plugged them in. Yeah, Windows saw them as these massive SD cards, and I was like, "This is great. Let's see if these are real." And there was actually a tool that I used that does a read and write test, and it just writes to the card constantly, fills up the capacity, and then it starts to read back that data to verify it. And I think the first card only got through maybe 2 gigs worth, and then it was just error after error after error. So got my money back for that one easily, because took screenshots. Second one I think was even smaller, and that was a bit more of a fight with the retailer. So always be careful when you buy your micro SD cards. Always, always, always.
This can also stretch out into more than just micro SD cards, into really any sort of mass storage in general or external storage. So always stay vigilant.
Especially if it's flash storage. A mechanical hard drive is a little bit more difficult to spoof, but I mean it's not impossible. But I mean, in terms of price per gig, when you've got a more traditional hard drive, those are fairly inexpensive to begin with. I mean, you can buy a 1 terabyte notebook drive for like $60, and that's going to be a legitimate drive. It's going to be a Western Digital or a Seagate. But if you were to find, say, a 1 terabyte SD card for $60, that's going to be a scam. So yeah, like Amog said, that's you got to be very careful in anything. And if you're not sure, I'm sure hit up our Nintendo. You can even hit up our technology, our tech support, or even just doing some basic Google searches, and you'll be able to find information to kind of answer those questions.
All right. I think we've about covered it.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode of Hello Nintendo. I'd like to thank Amog for joining me today.
Of course.
Now, if people wanted to connect with you, where could they find you online?
So last episode, I said that I would start using my Twitter a little more often. However, that ended up not being the case as of right now. So I guess just for now, cast Starman on Reddit.
Right on. I can be found on Twitter at ReggieFizameme. That's also my Xbox Live name, and I'm never giving that up. So anybody that wants that name, you can go suck an egg. I'm never giving that up. Everybody that when I tell them my gamer tag and when I tell them my handle, they all say that's awesome. So never giving that up. You can also catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/TrainAss. Because now that I'm kind of over this cold and I've done that voice project, I'm going to resume streaming Tuesday and Thursday evenings. But keep an eye on my Twitter, because if I have to postpone or cancel a stream, I'll definitely post it there, and kind of an explanation wise. You can also find me on Reddit under the name TrainAss as well. And there's one other small announcement before we sign off.
A very sad announcement, mind you.
Yeah, so this is actually my final episode of Hello Nintendo. 30 episodes in. I think I had, maybe 3 or 4 hiatus because of personal stuff going on. But yeah, so I'm sad to go. But I did have a lot of fun. It's a great group of people that I've been able to work with. Amazing team. Definitely some really smart guys in this group. And I wish you guys all the best. And I will definitely stay subscribed and be listening in as you guys keep going.
Yeah, Matt, it's been great knowing you for these past few years, and and hopefully we keep in touch afterwards too. I'm sad to hear that this is your last episode, but I wish you all the luck in the future in all of your future endeavors, whether it's voice acting related or whatever else you've got planned.
Thank you. And who knows? Maybe you'll hear me voicing a character in a Nintendo game at some point in the future.
Ooh.
Don't worry, I will never forget the little people.
Hey, maybe you'll be the little person and I'll be the voice actor.
Maybe you'll be the big time Hollywood actor or something big time. Because Hello Nintendo is really kind of what helped me spread my voice wings, which sounds really weird. But if it wasn't for this podcast, I don't think I'd be where I am today. It's definitely helped me become more comfortable behind a microphone and talking. Mind you, I've never had a problem with talking. But,
unfortunately.
Overall, though, this podcast has definitely helped me on my voice acting journey. So, but yeah, and I'm sure we'll stay in touch. For sure.
Oh yeah.
So be sure to tune into our next episode of Hello Nintendo, where we're going to ask the question that's been asked since the dawn of video games. Is Nintendo doomed?
Alright, see you next time on Hello Nintendo.